All right, boys, we're going to try something new here. Well, I'm going to try something new. You let me see if you can tell any difference. Um, as long as our little friend here, the heater, will be quiet, I can keep talking. Um, I'm going to be needing a Bobcat here soon. We've got a little snow on the ground, which is weird for us. But as soon as it goes away, I'm going to be needing this old girl, and there's still a couple things I need to do. I got one last hose I haven't replaced, and I've got a couple of little oil leaks that are just bugging the crap out of me. So let me bring you in here. This model has an electric cutoff solenoid on it, right here. The older ones just had a cable hooked up to this, but this one, when you turn the key on, she clicks the fuel on, clicks the fuel off. So this little piece right here, I don't know if you can see it or not. She's kind of leaky right there. So I'm gonna pull this little cover off right here that has this cutoff switch in it, and see if I can't, I don't know, re-O-ring it, something of that nature. See if I can fix the leak on it. And then my throttle shaft up here has a little play in it, and it leaks a little oil too, and it makes everything nasty. I'm weird about keeping stuff clean. I know it's a Bobcat, you can't really keep them clean, but I like to have a clean machine. And when you eliminate oil leaks, you can see where other leaks come up. Like if you notice, the bottom of the battery looks wet and the side of the machine looks wet. So I've noticed I've got one more hose, this one right here, that I have not replaced yet. That's the last hose I haven't replaced, and it's leaking up in there. And like the video I did, I don't know, a little while back, it's one of the hoses that goes to this cylinder, so I'm going to have to pick it up, block it, pull my cylinder out, push it forward so I can get to the back of the hose. So we're going to be taking this apart and see if we can figure out how to reseal that, because I don't really like the oil leak. And I think I've got a new piece of fuel line I'm going to run from the lift pump up to the injectors. And then we're going to get this cylinder pushed forward so I can get that hose out and get me another one made. So bear with me. I'm going to see if I can let y'all watch me do this. All right, boys, like y'all know, it's kind of hard for me to hold a camera and work at the same time. I've got all my controls off of it. I got the throttle bracket laying back here. The shut-off solenoid's loose. I've got all the bolts out. Let's see if I can pop it loose real quick. Get it on out of there. I don't know if I'll... It may come off easy. It may not. I just don't know. I may have to get a hammer after it. Yeah, she's on there pretty good. Let me see if I can get a hammer after it. All right, boys, we done got her cleaned up. I didn't realize it still had so much beautiful paint on it. She looks good. Got her all cleaned up. What it was a roll pin that goes through the shaft there. It looked like a set screw to me, but it goes clean through there. Everything looks good. There's a little bit of wear on the shaft. I don't know if you can see the kind of scuff marks on it. It still fits pretty tight in there. And this looks like a very small seal. There we go. So it's got numbers on it. But in the past, what I have done is I can face this surface a little bit with a file and get it nice and smooth, because you can see it looks like dirt's got back in behind it. It's been dragging. And I've got some thick O-rings that fit in this, because this seal, it ain't doing nothing anymore. So I'm going to try and dig that seal out of there real easy and face this surface off and see if we can get us a thick little O-ring to go in it. And I think I've done it on my tractor, and I've done it on a couple other pieces of Kubota equipment. I've put that O-ring in there, and if I can find the same O-ring that I was using before, it seems to seal pretty well. And it seems to last too. The one on my tractor has been working good, because I was unable to find that seal. Now on my tractor, it doesn't have a shut-off plate on it like this. It's capped off, but the throttle shaft was leaking just like it is on this one, and I was able to use an O-ring on the tractor to get it to seal up. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get this little seal out of here real easy like, and face that surface so there's no, tension on it dragging from the back side of this, because you can see it's been dragging a little bit too. I'll probably surface that a little bit with a file and get it nice and smooth. And then we'll get an O-ring put in there and see if I can find the correct one. All right, boys, we got her back together. It's looking pretty nice. I found the O-ring I needed, and you'll notice what color it is in there. It's an AC O-ring, but it's going to work. Got everything all cleaned up. Got a little lube in there on the shaft, and I got us a fairly elementary gasket made for it that's going to work just fine. So we're going to install that dude, and well, I don't know if I can run it in here, because this thing, she likes to puff out the goodness when it's real cold, and she hadn't been started in a while, so we may not fire it up, but I still got to clean the block off, so we'll get to installing this thing right quick. Alright, now that I'm covered in diesel fuel, I just happen to have a factory piece of Kubota fuel line to put from the lift pump up to the injectors, and I had some new clamps, and apparently that one's a little too big, but it's on there. So I got everything all cleaned up. I've got the throttle linkage off of it. It's got some little well, where did I put it? I don't know where I put it. Little turnbuckles, little like tie rod ends. One of them was completely frozen up, so I got it soaking in some penetrating oil. Gonna see if I can loosen it up, make the throttle work a little better, because if those freeze up and then you shear one off, well, you ain't got no throttle, so that's kind of shitty. So got the fuel line replaced, got the block clean. Well, fairly, I'll have to wipe it off one more time. And we got our gasket made, so we're gonna, step that, the little danged old back on the on the engine. All right, boys, we're all back together. Got everything in here. Everything's all tight. I noticed one problem. Tell me if you can see it. That kind of bugs me. That's loose as all get out. So, yeah, we're going to do something about that. This is the little swivel that was all bound up. It needs to move because it acts like a ball joint. So I got it nice and loose. So, we'll work on that next. Let me show you what I got going. So everything's in there all nice. Tighten back up. But anyway, we'll work on that next, see what I can do with it. Alright, I think we got this figured out here. This little thing has a little spacer in between it, and the bolt clamps the spacer together, and that bracket actually rides on that little spacer. So I found me a washer that was about 30 thousandths thick, and it seemed to take up quite a bit of play. It's way better. I like that a whole lot better. I put a little grease in there so she'll slide real nice, but that took quite a bit of the play out of it. So that looks a whole lot better. All right. Throttle linkage is all back together and tightened up and loosened up. Hopefully we got our engine oil leak fixed. We'll know in the next day or so when we go to run it and see whether or not our O-rings are going to work. Got a new piece of fuel line on there. Maybe that'll quit leaking a little fuel, which has come out on the ground. Hell, that's probably $8 worth of fucking fuel right there. With the way fuel prices are. God, that shit jumped like 20-something cents in 2 days. I don't know what the hell. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to afford to run this damn machine. Luckily, it's got a full tank in it. Maybe I can get a couple hours use out of it. So, I don't know. Anyway, we're going to keep going, keep working on some more stuff. She's kind of smoky in here now, boys. All right, we got her blocked up. Bucket sitting on the ground. I took all the pressure off the hydraulics because we don't like no spraying stuff. And let's see if we can get these pins out, get that hose off, get the cylinder pushed forward, and yeah. If you never grease your equipment, listen to me, right? Meow. Meow. I pull these pins out with my hand. No beating, no banging. Just pulled them right on out of there. I don't know that I've ever had this cylinder off. I could have, but I got the pins out by hand. So, grease your equipment. I promise you, a field tech one day come out, fix your piece of shit. Maybe me. And I guarantee you, he'll be way happy if you greased your machine and you got to do some work to it. I already got these fittings loose. I'm going to go ahead and get these dudes off of here. And I tell you what, hope I don't lose too much, Earl. I may have some caps. Let me see if I got some caps for this old girl. Yep, I got some caps. See if I can do this one-handed. Capped. Well, I'm trying, boys. Alright, that one's capped for the most part. I'm not worried about losing too much oil out of that because I'm finna take that line off of there. Alright, let's see if we can get this cylinder out of here. Alright, let's see if we can get that cylinder out of there now. Oh, yeah. Look at that. Look at that goodness. Alright, that gives us a perfect view. See if you can see that. See where that hose was starting to leak? See the clean spot on it? That's a guaranteed leak. I don't know where it's busted, but we're just going to get another line made for it. You can see I replaced this one already. Alright, let me get this line off her. Alright, boys. We got the hose off of her. Scraped off some of all the old goo that was on it. Got the hose off. I'll have to wait a little while and go get one made if something's open tomorrow. So I guess this will be a continued video. Everything else looking pretty good. It ran for a little while. I know it's not enough to get, adequate oil up to my shut-off solenoid. So we won't really know if it leaks until we run it for a hot minute. But so far she looks good. I got a little Earl on the ground. Old socks are good for that. When they got too many holes in them that all your toes stick out of them, it's time to make them into rags. So, I'll have to get me a hose made, and we can stuff this cylinder back in, and she may be ready to work as soon as this snow gets off the ground and whatnot. But let's see. I don't know what today is. Saturday at 3:30 in the morning. Holy shit, I probably ought to go to bed. Let's see. If I looked at the weather right, I think by Sunday it's supposed to be back in the lower 60s. So I don't know what the hell. By the way, that's the temperature in the shop, not outside. Anyway, see if I can get me a hose made tomorrow if I can wake up on time, and we'll get old girl back together. Well, all that snow went away pretty fast. It only got up to 34 degrees today, but all the cloud cover was gone. What you doing? What you doing? Muddy little dog. The sun had come out and that's where all of it melted away. I don't know the official results on it, but I think it was like 3.5 inches. You know, that's quite a bit. Anyway, I called up a buddy of mine who's a field service tech, and he's got a crimp machine on his truck, and I happen to have a few fittings. I'll go buy me a piece of hose and get us a hose made for the old Bobcat. So, letting the old shipping crate warm up and gave the dog something to eat. It's kind of late in the day. I've been making phone calls, paying bills. You know, that adulting shit that nobody wants to worry about. Anyway, let me finish feeding up these hound dogs and we'll go get us a hose made. All right, boys, we got us a line made. Thanks to a buddy of mine. I ain't gonna say who or where or when or why, but I got us a line made for the low price of free, which is always good. And we're gonna stuff this dude back in right quick and make sure she hooks up all good. And on to our hoses. And as always, we shoot a little grease in it. I like the Molly flavor, the thick black grease. Seems to stay in the pins and bushings a hell of a lot longer than any of that red high temp shit that likes to come apart when it gets hot outside. You ever seen red goo dripping out of your shit? Well, that's probably that high temp stuff. That's good for wheel bearings, but not pins and bushings. Alright, I think that one's full. This Molly grease lasts a hell of a lot longer. Now, if you up north, this black stuff cannot be your friend. And it looks like we're out of grease. Because this stuff gets really thick when it's cold outside. Oh, that ought to be plenty of grease. This stuff gets real thick when it's cold outside and doesn't want to move. And I have seen it spin a bushing, but here in the South it seems to work real good. So I always like to use it. I've always had good luck with Molly grease in my pins and bushings. So now that that's all installed, I guess I'll refill my grease gun. And we'll fire it up and make some more smoke and let her drink a little hydraulic oil, make sure everything works right. looks like we got it. I don't see no leaks nowhere other than the shit that's still dripping out the bottom. Everything looks pretty good, a little residual shit on it, but we can wipe that off. Make sure it's all good. There we go. And we'll just watch them hoses. Looks pretty good. Alright, boys. That's about all I got. I think the Bobcat's back together and ready to work. I know a few of the guys that watch my channel. Well, quite a few of them. And a new subscriber that I had talked to the other day. Older gentleman up in Canada, seemed like a super good dude. Had a little short conversation with him. What was the name? World's Fastest Tube. Apparently this man has a 150 horse outboard on a daggum inner tube. I knew he was crazy down here in the States, but apparently Canada's got us beat. Anyway, he posted a video, I don't know, a couple hours ago. Said a few things that kind of hit home, and I understand where he's coming from. He done turned his channel comments off. I was going to comment on the video and give it a thumbs up, but apparently can't do it no more, and I know his reasoning behind it. Buddy, if you watching this, I'll second what you said. I hear you. I feel you. He's got a few years on me, and I try and listen to the wisdom of my elders and take heed to what they say, and I feel the man. He's too old for this shit, and I understand. I'm still kind of young. I can put up with a certain amount of bullshit, and if YouTube's gonna start doing shit to good people, then, well, there ain't no reason to be on here. I ain't really trying to make money off this stuff. I mean, it'd be nice one day to, you know, make a little money off of this, just a little side work, showing people cool stuff I do, and if I can throw some ads in there, cool. But if YouTube's gonna start throwing ads in where they don't belong and they ain't compensating people for using their videos, well, I think that's bullshit. So I'm just gonna, you know, keep filming what I do, and if you like it, hit that thumbs up, subscribe, whatever you want to do. Ain't no pressure. I enjoy doing this, and as long as I'm doing it, I guess I'll just film it. Tell your friends, tell whoever. Don't matter to me, but for those of y'all that keep coming back, hey, I really appreciate it. I know some of my stuff's kind of, you know, off the beaten path. If you like equipment, I love me some equipment. And as soon as I get some more hunting property, we'll be back hunting again. And I got a lot of big projects coming up. It's hard for me to work during the winter because y'all see I've got this little tiny ass shop. It's kind of enough to work on a Bobcat in, much less a truck. So once it gets warm enough outside, I can start taking stuff outside and working on it, which will free up a lot of my space to work in. But for now, boys, we appreciate y'all watching. Y'all come back. It's been Turtle Man.